Have you ever been in a room where everyone suddenly loses their mind over a game and you're just sitting there like, wait, what's happening? The score changes. Someone screams. Another person jumps. A grown adult hugs a stranger. And you're holding a plate of nachos thinking, it's just people running. If that's you, don't worry. You're not broken. You're just one of those rare humans who don't obsess over sports. And in the USA, that can feel like being the only vegetarian at a Texas barbecue. Let's be honest. In America, sports are not just games. They're events. They're traditions. They're emotional roller coasters with snacks. The Super Bowl isn't just a game. It's basically a national holiday. People plan weeks ahead. Jerseys come out. Group chats explode. Someone's uncle suddenly becomes a professional coach from his couch. And then there's you. You show up for the food. You clap when everyone else claps because you don't know what just happened, but it looked important. Someone asks, did you see that play? And you respond, yeah, crazy, hoping that covers it. Here's the funny part. People who don't obsess over sports aren't anti-sports. They just don't build their emotional life around a scoreboard. They can appreciate a good moment. They just don't need it to survive the weekend. You know the sports-obsessed friend, the one who knows every player's stats, their high school, their injury history, their dog's name. They can tell you who was drafted in 2016 in the third round and why that decision changed the franchise forever. Meanwhile, you barely remember what teams are playing. And that's okay, because while they're debating whether a coach should be fired, you're thinking about your next vacation, or that book you want to read, or how to finally fix that thing in your house that's been broken for 3 months. Different energy, same human. Let's talk about pressure for a second. In some friend groups, not caring about sports feels illegal. You say, I don't really follow football, and suddenly the room goes quiet. Someone squints at you like you just confessed to not liking pizza. Wait, you don't watch the NFL? No, Dave, I do not. It's not personal. It's just 3 hours of watching people run into each other isn't everyone's love language. Some people recharge by watching games. Others recharge by going for a walk, watching a movie, playing video games, cooking, learning something new, or just doing absolutely nothing. And here's something interesting. People who don't obsess over sports often use that time differently. Think about it. If someone watches every football game, every basketball game, every playoff, every draft show, that's a lot of hours. Now imagine what you can do with that same time. Start a side hustle. Learn guitar. Sleep. Highly underrated. Call your mom. Actually clean your room. No judgment. Just math. And let's clear something up. Not obsessing over sports doesn't make you less social. In fact, sometimes it makes you more flexible. You can hang out without needing a screen in front of you. You're fine if there's no TV in the room. You don't panic if the Wi-Fi drops during a big game. You're emotionally stable without needing a referee's decision to validate your mood. That's kind of powerful. Have you ever seen someone's entire week ruined because their team lost? They walk into work like they personally dropped the ball in the final seconds. You? You slept peacefully. You woke up refreshed. The sun rose either way. There's also something quietly confident about not following the crowd. In a country where sports culture is huge, high school football nights, college rivalries, March Madness brackets, choosing not to dive in doesn't mean you're disconnected. It means you know what actually interests you. And that takes self-awareness. Maybe you prefer music. Maybe you're into tech. Maybe you love business, art, fitness, travel, movies, psychology, cars, food, literally anything else. You get excited about different things, and excitement is what matters because obsession isn't about sports. It's about identity. For some people, their team is part of who they are. It connects them to their city, their family, their childhood memories. And that's beautiful. But if that's not your story, that's fine too. You don't need to fake enthusiasm just to fit in. Let's talk about the awkward moments, though. Like when everyone's discussing last night's game at lunch and you're just there. You nod, you sip your drink, you Google the score under the table just in case someone asks. We've all been there. But here's a secret. Most people don't actually care if you're into sports. They care that you're interesting, that you have something you're passionate about. If someone says, did you see the game? You can say, no, but I started learning photography, or I've been working on this new project, Or even, I tried making homemade pizza for the first time. Now the conversation shifts. You bring value in your own way. And sometimes being the non sports person is refreshing. When emotions are high and arguments start about referees and bad calls, you're the calm one, the Switzerland of the group. You're not yelling at the TV. You're asking, anyone want more snacks? Peacekeeper energy. Another thing, not obsessing over sports can protect your mental space. Think about how much intense debate, online arguments, and social media chaos surrounds big games. The hot takes, the angry tweets, the endless analysis. If you're not in that world, you're kind of free. Free from stress over fantasy leagues, free from checking scores every 5 minutes, free from emotional whiplash. You can still enjoy the vibe without carrying the weight. And here's the twist. Sometimes people who don't obsess over sports end up enjoying games more when they do watch them because it's casual, no pressure, no expectations, just entertainment. You can appreciate the athleticism, the teamwork, the drama, then move on with your life. No heartbreak required. At the end of the day, not obsessing over sports doesn't make you boring. It doesn't make you un-American. It doesn't make you weird. It just means your excitement lives somewhere else. And that's the real point. Everyone obsesses over something. Some obsess over touchdowns. Some obsess over startups. Some obsess over gym progress. Some obsess over travel plans. The question isn't, why don't you care about sports? The real question is, what do you care about? Because that's where your energy goes. That's what shapes your conversations. That's what builds your life. So the next time someone gasps and says, you don't follow sports, just smile and say, not really. Then talk about the thing that actually lights you up. Trust me, confidence is way more interesting than pretending to care. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll casually watch a game and enjoy it. Or maybe you won't. Either way, the world keeps spinning. The scoreboard changes, the season ends, and your life? It's still yours. So if you're one of those people who don't obsess over sports, relax. You're not missing out. You're just playing a different game.